Hello and welcome to the evening English news edition on PACIS TV. I am Benjamin Kwizera and these are the headlines. The lay faithful of the Archdiocese of Kigali are being asked to continue collaborating with the priests to prepare for and celebrate 50th anniversary of the establishment of Archdiocese of Kigali. In Nyamagabe district, some farmers are facing challenges in accessing markets for their products due to poor road conditions. They are therefore requesting authorities to help a rehabilitation of the roads. In Nyamaseke, in Gisagara district, the Minister of Public Services and Labor, Ambassador Christine Nkurikinka, reminded the parents that it is a responsibility to teach children about the real history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. In international news, President Donald Trump said that the ceasefire between Lebanon and Iran is extended to 3 weeks. Welcome once again in the news in details. In Kigali, the lay faithful of Archdiocese of Kigali are being asked to continue collaborating with the priest to prepare for and celebrate the 50th anniversary of establishment of the Archdiocese of Kigali, especially by preparing spiritually and reflecting on their past weaknesses so they can take steps to strengthen their faith. This was discussed this Friday during a pastoral council meeting of the Archdiocese of Kigali, which brought together the bishop, senior priest who led the parishes, and representatives of the parish and pastoral council. In his remarks, His Eminence Antoine Cardinal Kambanda explained the background and the significance of the Jubilee.
The Archdiocese of Kigali is in the Jubilee of 50 years of foundation. It was founded on 20th of April 1976, born from the Diocese of Kabgai, the first diocese in the country. So we are in the Jubilee of 50 years. After the double Jubilee of the evangelization in Rwanda, 100 years, and the redemption of humanity in 2025 years, we entered the Jubilee of the Archdiocese. The Jubilee is to look behind, and we thank God for all the gifts and the graces He has given us all these years that built this Archdiocese. It's a moment also of asking pardon where we failed in our testimonies, especially in the history of Rwanda, a tragic history, what we went through, and our failings. We ask pardon for them in order to reconcile with God and to reconcile.
In Nyamagabe, some farmers in Nyamagabe district say they are still facing challenges in accessing markets for their products due to poor road conditions. They are therefore requesting the authorities to help rehabilitate these roads. Among the farmers in Nyamagabe district, including those from Cyanika sector, are now claiming for the roads. News in detail. Some farmers in Yamaseke district say they are still facing challenges in accessing markets for their products due to poor road conditions. They are therefore requesting authorities to help them to rehabilitate these roads. Among the farmers in Nyamagabe district, including those from Cyanika sector, many point out that damaged roads have become impassable. This is a major obstacle that makes it difficult for them to transport their harvest to the market. They are therefore appealing the authorities to address this issue of poor roads so they can be able to deliver their products more easily.
I am
a farmer in Cyanika sector, Kiyumba Cell. Getting our harvest to the market is very difficult for us. Our roads are not well maintained to these days, and it remains a major hindrance. The problem we face as farmers is the poor state of roads. Roads are truly still an issue. We encounter these obstacles when trying to transport products to the market. We would appreciate it if they helped us by repairing the roads.
The mayor of Nyamagabe district, Hildebrand Nyomugeri, said that what the district leadership assures these farmers and residents of Cyanika sector in general is that the issue of impassable roads will begin to be addressed with the lasting solutions starting in July 2026.
It is true that we still have problems with infrastructures that we must build urgently. The Gasaka-Cyanika, as you know, it has 30 kilometers squared. Road must be constructed not more than July. We expect to complete the progress.
In addition to the problem of damaged roads and bridges, which farmers in Nyamagabe say hinders them from getting their products to the market, they also highlight other challenges that cause them losses. These include delays in accessing agricultural inputs, disorganization in the pricing system offered by middlemen who buy their products, and poorly developed marshlands, shortage of improved seeds, especially bean seeds, high cost and limited availability of fungicides used to treat wheat diseases, which are difficult to obtain. From Nyamagabe district to Nyamaseke district, students who have completed their studies at GS St. Joseph Nyamasheke say they are finishing their academic journey with a great satisfaction, appreciating both academically and good character. They encourage their fellow students who are still in school to put more effort into their studies, practice prayer, and seek guidance from their leaders, as will help them to achieve lasting success. Graduates from GS St. Joseph Nyamasheke, also known as the Resilient Ones, say that they are proud of the completing the journey, highlighting not only the quality education, but also the strong moral and religious foundation they gained. They especially emphasize devotions to St. Joseph, the patron of their school, as noted by one of the top performers, Adolphe Iragaba. On the other hand, Nadine Tuyiringire advises students who are still in school to work harder at their studies, practice prayer, and follow the guidance of their leaders and parents, as this will benefit them in their lives. Brother Matthias Nchimimana, the head of GS St. Joseph Nyamasheke, says that students who pass through the school play a significant role in Rwandan society. Some go on to university, others create their own jobs, and some serve in various government institutions. The administration of GS St. Joseph Nyamasheke states that it will continue to provide quality education grounded in Christian values, aiming to prepare young people with the knowledge and good character to help them succeed in life and contribute to national development. The graduates also affirm that the knowledge they gained from this school is a strong foundation for their future. From Nyamaseke district straight to Gisagara, the Minister of Public Services and Labor, Ambassador Christine Nkurikiyinka, reminded the parents that it is their responsibility to teach their children about the real history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. The event of the commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi, specifically victims who were killed at Kabuye Hill in Indora sector, took place at Kabuye Memorial Site, where buried more than 50,000 of Tutsi victims. Valentine is one of the survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi at Kabuye Hill, explains how she survived at Kabuye Hill, and also expresses how grateful to Rwandan government and always prioritize sustainable development of the country. In her remarks, the Minister of Public Services and Labor, Ambassador Christine Nkurikiyinka, reminded the parents that it is their responsibility to teach their children about the real history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. She also stated that all Rwandans must fight all kinds of hateful speeches that may lead to the genocide ideology, and call upon the citizens to work hand in hand so that what happened in Rwanda will never happen again. Minister Ambassador Nkurikiyinka called up on youth to consistently be eager to get all information about the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. After a short break, we are coming back with international news. Welcome back to our international news. Speaking to journalists abroad, the Papa plane, the Pope Leon XIV condemned global conflict. News in detail.
Speaking to journalists abroad, the Papal Pontificate issued searing condemnation of global conflict, specifically addressing the rising tension in Iran and Lebanon. His message was clear: he is a pastor, not a politician. As a pastor, he says he cannot be a favor of war when the cost of measured in the lives of children. The Pope began by reflecting on his time in 4 African nations, including his final stop, Equatorial Guinea. He pushed back against those who view his travels through a purely political lens. To him, this wasn't about judging government, but about working with the people and announcing the gospel in their moments of their joy and suffering. The most poignant moment came when the Pope was asked about the chaos surrounding negotiation with Iran and threat of nuclear escalations. He spoke of a photo he carries, a Muslim child from Lebanon, who welcomed him with a sign only be killed later. In the conflict, he urged a shift away from violence, attack toward a culture of peace, and return international law on migration. With a trip to Spain on the horizon, the Pope turned his attention to the migration crisis. He challenged the global north, asking why wealth nations and multinations are not doing more than to create opportunities in the global south. Why acknowledge a state's right to deregulate its borders? His moral bottom line was firm: migrants are human beings, and they must be treated with the dignity that belongs to every human being. Addressing internal church tension, specifically the move by some German bishop to bless same-sex couples, the Pope called for unity while echoing the famous "everyone is welcome." He cautioned against formalized blessing that could cause further disunity, insisting the church's focus should remain on justice, equality, and Jesus Christ. The pontiff ended with a blunt condemnation of recent wave of execution in Iran. The takeaway: I condemn the taking of people's lives. I condemn capital punishment. Human life must be protected from consumption to natural death.
In Middle East, Israel and Lebanon ceasefire extended by 3 weeks, as said by United States President Donald Trump. Global oil prices were above $100 a barrel for the third day, as the President Donald Trump again refused to give timeline for resolving the war with Iran-Lebanon ceasefire. A fragile truce in Lebanon has been extended by 3 weeks after Israel and Lebanese representatives met at the White House. The conflict between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah is among the key sticking points in U.S. and Iran peace efforts. President Donald Trump again refused to give timeline for resolving the Iran war, telling reporters don't rush him. He blamed what described as the lack of the clear leadership for stalled talks, saying the United States of America does not know the leader is in line. As the pressure grows from the global economic impacts, Maritime Stanford, U.S. military officials are developing new plans to target Iran's capabilities in the Strait of Hormuz if the Iran ceasefire falls apart. United States of America's President Donald Trump says the Israel and Lebanon ceasefire will be extended for 3 weeks after talks at the White House. The Israel Defense Force IDF and Hezbollah have accused each other of ceasefire violations. IDF says it killed 3 Hezbollah terrorists overnight, while Hezbollah says it fired a rocket at northern Israel. One of the key obstacles to permanent deal between Lebanon and Israel is decision about Hezbollah's Arsenal. The Iran-backed militant group has so far refused to discuss the future of the weapons, right Hugo Baca. Thank you very much for being with us in news tonight, but before we leave, let's go back to the top stories. In our top stories, in Kigali, lay faithful of the Archdiocese of Kigali are being asked to continue collaborating with the priest to prepare for and celebrate 58th anniversary of the establishment of Archdiocese of Kigali. In Nyamagabe district, some farmers are claiming that are facing challenges in accessing markets for their products due to poor road conditions and therefore requesting authorities to help rehabilitate the roads. In Gisagara district, the Minister of Public Services and Labor, Ambassador KRISTU, reminded the parents that it is their responsibility to teach their children about the real history of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. In international news, President Donald Trump said that the ceasefire between Lebanon and Iran is extended to 3 weeks. Thank you very much for being with us in our news tonight. It was the news headed by Uize Kamalade and presented by Kwisela Benjamin. Good night.